Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome. Today I have with me Miss Tanya Whitaker, and I'm so excited to talk to Tanya. So, Tanya, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. I'm excited to be chatting with you because you know you're my friend in my head.
Yes, we are friends. We are friends. And now it's official because we met through this interview. So I want to
Yeah.
tell you guys, Tanya is a veteran, and I was so excited to talk with her. And yesterday, when we were kind of wrapping up the details of this interview, it was Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day. And tell us, what did you do to celebrate?
Well, I went out to the different restaurants that were providing meal vouchers for veterans. So I have some vouchers for my husband and I so we can go out and eat later on in the week.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to go yesterday. You could use them later.
Yes, we picked them up yesterday on Veterans Day and they're good for until May of 2026. So we
Oh,
actually have some time.
okay, I love that. I love that. Very good. So thank you for your service. We appreciate you. I know that, being a veteran, my dad and brother are veterans too. So I know what a sacrifice it can be for a family. And we just appreciate you and thank you for your service. All
Well,
right.
thank you so much. Army strong all the way.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's an understatement. When we started to look at these pictures of you, and I was going to tell you, though, another reason why I was excited to do this interview is because when I look at your pictures, I feel like you're working out day and night. Like it reminds me of that Michael Jackson song, "Got Me Working, Working Day and Night." So you look like you strength train from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. So we have to get into it and talk about it. But before we get to that, let us know, tell us a little bit about yourself, however you want to introduce yourself, because I don't know if I gave you justice. And then also tell us about how you started on your health journey. Like, what was the wake up call or the moment that you decided that you wanted to, kind of get your health under control and get your weight under control?
Well, I'm Tanya Whitaker. Hey, everybody. I'm 60 years old. And what my aha moment was for me was I saw a picture of me after the pandemic, and I was in a t-shirt that said Black Girl Magic. And when I looked at the picture, I was like, oh my goodness, that's not Black Girl Magic at its finest. We can do better. And I have struggled with my weight for so long, and I just decided, you know what, this is not me. So my sister, who is a nurse, told me about Zepbound, and I actually started my journey in February of 2024. And I just been on the grind of working out and trying to change my eating habits and drinking more water and strength training. And this is the result. And I'm quite happy with it. At my
Oh,
heaviest,
yeah.
I was 220 pounds. That was
Okay.
just a little bit before the pandemic. But after the pandemic, I was actually 190. I was wearing a size 14, a size 16, depending on how it was cut. And the inflammation in my knees, my back ached, my feet hurt, just my whole body just ached. So thinking that this would be a good solution along with changing my eating habits, that's how I decided to get on Zepbound.
All
And
right.
for
So
all
tell
you
us.
veterans out there, real quick, all you veterans out there, you can get it from the VA for free because I get mine for free. They send me a 90-day supply and they FedEx it to my house. So don't let the primary care doctor tell you can't get it. All you have to do is, of course, meet the criteria, have your BMI over 30, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And your primary care just submits it for you, and the pharmacy makes a decision. They look at your medical records, and you can get Zepbound through the VA for free.
You can get
If
it
you
for
need
free.
help, y'all can get my email address and I will rock and roll with y'all to help y'all get this medicine for any veteran who wants to get it. Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll leave your email in the comments. But let me go back to, so thank you. We'll come back to that too. I want to circle back to that, but I want to ask you before I lose the train of thought here, because I think this is so helpful. When you say you tried everything, what do you mean by that? What did you try to lose weight?
Well, of course, we all tried every diet that you can think of. And I actually had gastric bypass in 2001. And I had lost weight then. And I lost over 100 pounds with my gastric bypass surgery. because I was, like I said, at my heaviest, I was 225 pounds, 220, 225.
Wow.
And then I had gastric bypass surgery. And that lasted for a good about 10 years. But then I wasn't exercising. I went back to my poor eating habits and I regained the weight. So, yeah. And I had it laparoscopically and it was a success. It worked for me, but I didn't change my eating habits and I didn't work out. So even on this GLP-1 journey, I've learned, yes, it helps us lose weight, but you still have to do your part.
So you said you still have to do your part, which is the eating
Absolutely.
and the exercise. Okay,
Absolutely.
very
We got to
good.
move.
Very good. So take us back to shout out to your sister for telling you about the Zepbound, right? Shout out to
Right.
your sister. And I want to say, I want to ask, so when your sister says they have this medication, is Zepbound, what were you thinking? Now, you said she had taken it, or I think you told me that your sister had taken it. Was she successful? And when she brought it up, you were like, oh, okay. Or did you, like, how did that go?
Yes, she was on it and she responded to it quite well. She is gorgeous. I always thought my sister was the prettiest of us all. So to me, she looks like Mary J. Blige looks like her, not she looks like Mary J. Blige. That's what my
Uh,
sister looks like. And when I saw how it responded to her, and she is very, very, very pro health, being your best, being your best, and especially since we're older. Like I said, of course, I'm 60, I'll be 61 in a couple of months. She was like, you really need to get that weight off because, we're susceptible more so to diabetes, stroke, high blood pressure. And the one sickness we don't want to get is diabetes because it can take your limbs, your eyesight, and eventually, your life. So she was like, yeah, you need to get that weight off. And when I saw her how she did it, I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And then I went to YouTube and I did my research and I went online and I looked at different videos and went to the Eli Lilly website and looked and I said, shucks, what have I got to lose but some pounds?
Yes, that's a good way to look at it. And I always say to people who say, this medication, we don't know enough about it. It hasn't been out that long. We don't know what it's going to do to your body. And I always said to that, and still to this day, say, well, we know what being obese do for us. We know what getting diabetes will do. We know what all the comorbidities will do to us. So I feel the same way you feel when you said, what do I have to lose? Why not try it? Because we know what having all those comorbidities will lead to. So I love that. I love that you took a chance. And I feel like, when we're trying these medications and taking the medications, we are, we are giving ourselves a vote of confidence, right? We're, betting on ourselves. And I love that. I love that. All right.
I'm in
So,
agreement with you on that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Would you rather have all those comorbidities come across, or do you want to try something that's different and that could possibly help? Worst case scenario, if your side effects are too bad, your body is going to reject it and you're going to stop anyway because your
yeah.
body will tell you, okay, you've tried it, it's not working for you. So, what do we got to lose? Like I said, but a few pounds and to be healthier. Absolutely.
Yes, 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 yes. So, okay, so you are on the GLP-1. And so when you take that first injection of Zepbound, what happened? Tell us about that.
My very first injection of Zepbound, I was nervous because I can have a baby, but I can't do a needle. I was like, oh my goodness. And you hype it up in your head thinking the needle is going to hurt something terribly. I said, do I want to be fat or do I want to take this needle and keep it moving? So I just took a deep breath. I put it in the right side of my stomach and boom, I was going. My first month, now I know this is not what the norm is because I think they said we need to lose like maybe 2 to 4 pounds a week. But for my first month on Zepbound, I believe I lost 17 pounds my first month. My
17
first month.
pounds. You were
I
rocking
did.
and rolling.
I
So
did.
you got 17 pounds. So were you, so wait, before we talk about that, did the injection hurt? Did you feel anything? Was there a pinch? Were you like, oh, I can do this? Because, we have the same fear of that needle.
I was like, my motto was, do you want to be fat, Tanya, and still looking like that picture, or do you want to go ahead and take this needle and suck it up and be healthier and be skinny? Which one do you want to do? Let's get real. And so I decided to just take a deep breath and take that shot. And what I've learned by taking my shot is I take my shot out an hour before I get ready to take it because I've noticed if you take it right out of the refrigerator, it stings something fierce. You
Yes,
only
people
have
have
to
said
do it
that.
one time, only one time, and you'll always take it out. So now I take mine out an hour before I take my shot. And when it's pretty much at room temperature, I don't feel it at all. It's like a click that pen and keep it moving.
I've never felt it either, and I take mine at room temperature, but I've taken it out of the refrigerator and taken it as early as 15 minutes after sometimes, and I didn't feel it either. It wasn't ice
You
cold,
did.
very cold at all. But yeah,
I'm
even after
surprised.
15 minutes, usually it's like an hour, 30 minutes, but yeah, I've done that within 15 minutes too and didn't feel anything either.
Oh,
So,
see, I'm
yeah.
envious of you. No, I almost went through the roof, and it only took me one time, and I remember now.
So what did you feel when you took the injection? Did you feel like did you feel something? Did it take some hours? Did you go right to sleep? Are you taking it in the morning or at night? Like give us the lowdown.
I take my shot on Saturdays at 10 o'clock in the evening. So
Oh,
when I decided to do that after doing my research and things, some people said they had side effects, some people didn't. And of course, we know the medication acts differently for everyone. So I didn't know if I was going to feel side effects or not. And even though I'm retired, I don't have a job, I still wanted to be able to, you know, focus and maintain if I had any side effects. And I figured the weekend I would be okay. But I have to say, knock on wood, here we go. I've had no side effects at all. And I started my journey in February of 2024. When I say I've had no side effects, I've had none. No hair loss, no constipation, no sulfur burps, no, none, none.
not one.
Like I said, knock on wood.
Wow. Well, I know our bodies are different, but I also think that that possibly is a testament to how you're eating and what you're eating too, because I think that plays into it as well. And then, what are you eating before your injection, and what do you eat after? Because you take it at 10 at night. Do you eat anything after that?
No, I really try not to eat anything after 8 o'clock. I'm
Okay.
still kind of getting disciplined with that. Sometimes I'm at 8:30, but I'm really trying not to eat no later than 8 o'clock. And normally, because I'm on the medication, I'm really not hungry. I will do breakfast, and my breakfast consists of maybe some scrambled egg with cheese because I love eggs. I'll do two of the Dannon Greek yogurts, which are the bomb. I love them, and I'll do a protein shake. And then lunch, I may eat lunch around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And for lunch, I might have a salad, or I might do peanut butter sandwich because I love peanut butter. And then I do a protein shake. Now I take creatine twice a day. I take creatine in the morning for breakfast, and I take creatine at like 4 o'clock just before I go to the Y. But any other supplements, I don't do. The only thing I do is the creatine. And I
That's
swear by Premier Protein. I love those protein shakes. That banana cream is off the chain. I love it.
So how much protein are you getting in? And have you tracked those calories and what you're eating? Because you told us about breakfast and lunch. Let's do the dinner, what like a sample of what you eat for dinner. And then tell us, do you track the calories in that and do you track the protein?
No, I do not track my calories because I know I'm still at a calorie deficit because I know what I used to eat compared to what I eat now. My protein, my
I love
protein,
that.
you
You said, I
laughing,
know what
but
I was eating and I know what I'm eating now.
absolutely, absolutely. I would have like 4 Mountain Dew red cold reds in a week. I could have 5 of those, and that's like 160 calories a pop. So I know my eating habits have changed, and I said it in my mind when I started on this journey. It's no need of me doing this medication if I'm not going to change my eating habits for real. So I want this. I made up in my mind that I wanted it to be a way of life going forward always. So I don't track my calories, like I said, because I know I'm eating less, but I do track my protein. My protein, I get between 80 and 100 grams of protein a day.
80, between 80 and 100.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, very good. So my doctor recommended 80 for me, and then I try to get between 90 and 120 because I'm strength training. But you give me hope if you're building muscle like that and you're eating 80, 80 to 90, like I'm in there.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm 5'5", and like well, today when I weighed in at 117 today. So I'm 5'5"
117.
and I'm 117. I was, like I said, wearing a size 14, 16. Now I wear size 00.
So how much protein did you say again? You said 100 grams? And I did say
Between 80 and 100.
between 80 and 100.
I
So
do
let
that
me
daily.
ask you, let's go back to the what you said before, because I think that that's important for people watching. When you said, when you decided to take this medication, you decided to change your eating habits and do something that was sustainable long term. So what do you say to the people, or what was your thought process when people say, like, I'm just going to eat, whatever I was eating, but I'm just going to also, have a calorie deficit because I'm going to eat it under portion control and moderation. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like you have to do what works for you. However, I know me and what I was eating just wasn't healthy. Like I said, if you can drink 5 sodas in 3 or 4 days, that's a whole lot of calories. And that's just the sodas you would be drinking. That's not counting the fast food. That's not counting the pizza.
Yeah.
That's not counting, that bag of chips or that box of donuts when you say you're only going to eat 2 and you wind up eating 4. So for me, I had to make it up in my mind that my eating habits needed to change. And I said, like I said to you before, what have I got to lose? Pounds. Pounds. And
Yeah.
I'm just committed to it. I like the way I look now. I like the way I feel. I go to the Y 5 to 6 days a week, and I take 2 to 3 classes a day. I do group power, which is strength training. I do Pilates, I do bar, I do Zumba, and I do boot camp. I also take 2 water aerobic classes. So
So
I'm
you
moving.
do that within one day, or you just spread this out? So like, so
Um,
tell us, like, what's the day in the life of, like, your exercise? Because obviously we can see your pictures, you're exercising. How much are you doing of strength training?
I do strength training on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday. I have 1 class each. But on a normal basis, like on Tuesday, from 4:30 to 5:15, I have group power, which is my strength training. From 5:30 to 6:15, I have Pilates. And then from 6:30 to 7:45, I do Zumba. So that's on Tuesday. On Thursday, I do my dance fitness, which is at 4:20 to 5:20. Then at 5:30, I have abs and more. And then at 6:15 to 7 o'clock, I do boot camp. And then on
Oh,
Friday, I just have 1 class. On Saturday, I have abs and more and a HIIT class, which is an hour, and then I have Zumba. So I'm in the gym quite a bit. It's become a lifestyle for me. I've even got my husband going to the Y. Between the both of us, we've lost about 125 pounds. Now he did his naturally. He's not on Zepbound, but he's been going to
okay.
the gym, working with me. He's the one that encouraged me. He always said, "Tanya, you need to eat healthier. I love you, but you still need to eat healthier. All that sugar." Like I never drank. I never smoked, but my drug of choice was sugar. And for anybody who's truthful with themselves, sugar is a drug. You crave it, you want it, you crave it, you
Great.
want it. You're constantly thinking about it. And this medication has really, which I didn't even know was a term before, food noise has really cut it off and has really changed my craving for sugar. Now, don't get me wrong, I do have some chestnuts, but instead of eating a whole roll of chestnuts, I'll eat 4 chestnuts out of the bag and I can roll the
No,
bag
what
back
are
up and I won't have
chessmans? I
cookies.
don't know what chessmans are.
Pepperidge Farm cookies.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So wait,
yeah.
have you had that Mountain Dew
I
since you've been
have
on
had a
Zepbound?
Mountain Dew, but I've only had last month I had 2 out of 30 days.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I was gonna say, no, I Mountain Dew. I've never been like a big soda drinker. I love a good lemonade, though. I'll drink a lemonade down. But I've never been a big soda drinker, and they are so sweet. So I can't imagine how that Mountain Dew must have tasted to you. Because now that you're on Zepbound, was it so sweet, or was it just kind of like, the same?
It was the same to me. It really wasn't like my taste buds have changed with certain foods, but the soda still tasted the same to me. But when I drank it knowing that, you know what, I'm only gonna have 1 soda and I'm gonna be fine. This is gonna be good. I'm gonna be content and I can keep it moving.
I love that. I
Days a
love
week.
that.
Okay, so
Okay,
you
all
work
right.
out.
5 to 6 days a week. And all that's not strength training from what you just said, right?
No, it's a combination of boot camp, strength training, water aerobics, Zumba. Yeah, I try to mix it up.
So how do you get so muscular though? Do you take any kind of supplements? Is it just the creatine? What is it? Like, or is it just the weights, the heavy weights of it all?
I believe it's the heavy weights of it all and the creatine, because that's the only supplement that I take. And when I do lift, I'm lifting, like we have one class we'll use a dumbbell. So my dumbbell maybe 20 pounds, and I have two of them, one in each hand.
Okay. So you don't live
Yeah.
past that 20 pounds.
Some days I might, but for the most part, I stick with 20. Yeah, I
Okay.
stick with 20.
Have you
Yeah.
ever been interested in bodybuilding? Because you look like you're like a lady bodybuilder. Has anybody ever
People
said
have,
that to you?
during the summertime when I was out at Walmart, and of course we had our little tank tops on, I've had people stop me and would ask me, "Are you a personal trainer? Do you train?" I'm like, "No, I just was on a weight loss journey." And I tell them honestly, with Zepbound, and I work out at the Y. And they were like, "Really?" And then when I tell them how old I am, they are really blown away. They don't believe that I'm 60. Yeah, I am.
Oh, I cannot believe you're 60. Jeez, Louise. Doesn't that just make you feel so good, like accomplished with all
Yes,
you've
it does,
done?
because I'm working very hard at it. So I'm really taking pride in it. And nobody just don't understand, coming from being a size 22 at your heaviest, even if you get down to a 14 or a 16, but accomplishing it with the help of medication and dedication. Now I am shopping. I go in Target and I'm shopping at the little girl section if I see something in the little girl section. If somebody had told me that years ago, I would have never believed it. I wouldn't have believed I can get in a size 0 jeans. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. And
Zero.
just the way I feel, my body feels so much better. My feet are not swelling and hurting as much. My back doesn't
Yeah.
ache as much. I really feel good. I'm still striving though, because like I told you in the emails I sent you, I'm still going for those Angela Bassett arms, like in What's Love Got to Do with It, those Tina Turner arms. I'm
You
getting
don't
there.
think you
I'm not
have
there
those
yet.
already?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. A little bit harder work. I'm getting there.
Oh my goodness. I feel like how more can you go? You look, I mean, amazing. You really look like, I mean, you know how like people have to get ready for those competitions. You look like you're ready to just like walk up in there and start flexing.
You're so kind. Thanks so much. Not just
You,
yet. Not just yet.
now what has your husband said about your body?
He said he loves me regardless whether I was fat or skinny. So I love him for that. And I have to say, he notices when I get my hair done, when I get my nails done. He still pulls out my chair. He still takes me out on dates. He
I love that.
always tells me that I'm pretty. So he's been an avid supporter. And like I said, he goes to the Y with me now. At first he was like, "Those old men are probably looking at you." I'm like, "Boy, I'm working out. If they looking, I'm working hard." He's like, "That's why I'm going to the gym, to make sure nobody ain't looking." And then he decided
He
that
really
he was
good.
having fun. He was having fun. So, like I said, now we go to the Y. And after 22 years of marriage, where am I going? He
22,
drives
yeah.
me crazy, but he's the love of my life. I have to say, loving him is easy like breathing. So, yeah,
Oh,
very
that's
cool.
so sweet. Did he ever have a weight issue?
Now he had gained weight when he was working out of the shipyard. And then the doctor told him he was going to have diabetes and had to take a stick with the needle. He said, absolutely not. So he was on a weight loss journey years and years ago, and he lost like 70 pounds. That was
No,
before I got serious with it, because the doctor told him he was going to have diabetes, and he said, absolutely not.
not, no.
But my husband
Uh-huh.
has that personality that when he makes his mind up about something, he just puts his mind to it and he just does it.
Yeah, very good, very good. So I love that he's a supporter. So what has your family said? What did the sister say that got you on the Zepbound and connected you with the Zepbound? What did she say? What is your family saying?
My family thinks I look great. They don't want me to get any smaller. They said, if you get any smaller, your head is going to be like a bobblehead. You don't need to get any smaller. So they're funny, but they are really proud of me, that mostly the weight loss, yes, but how committed I have become to being healthier by changing my eating habits. Like I said, my drug of choice was sugar. I would put sugar on grits, sugar on baked beans. I would put sugar on spaghetti. I would eat sugar. I would sleep sugar. I would snort sugar. Sugar was my drug of choice. That was my drug of choice for
Wow.
me. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So now you're into maintenance. And so do you find it harder being in maintenance versus the actual weight loss phase?
No, for me, maintenance is pretty easy. Now, of course, all of us know that you take your pen once a week. But now that I'm in maintenance, I take my pen on the 1st and the 15th of the month. And then I'll take it on the 31st, and then I take it the 15th of the next month. So I'm really only doing 2 pens a month since I'm in maintenance.
Okay.
And
And you
that
still
just
have,
seems to be working for me.
and it's still, your food noise is still down, your appetite is still suppressed, and all of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good,
And
good.
I'm on maintenance on 10 milligrams.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so when you decided you were going to go to the gym, because most people in maintenance work on the body comp of it all, right? Because that's, your goal now is to maybe shape your body the way you want it since you've taken the weight off. And so when did you start working on that? Like, so, like stop work, because right now I'm in the weight loss phase and I'm not even thinking about, I'm thinking about retaining my muscle. But I guess
Right.
I'm not thinking about like, I want to have Angela Bassett arms right now. I'm thinking about, I got to get this fat off these arms. So when did you started to incorporate that and think about it and take the supplement you're taking? Because I know that helps with like, muscle. So
Right.
when did you decide to do all that?
Now, I started in February, and it took me about 8.5, 9 months to lose the weight that I've lost. After that, I started the strength training. So about 10, 11 months after I lost the weight, that's when I started my strength training. So I started in February 2024. So that was February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So November of 2024, December of 2024, that's when I started the strength training, going to the Y.
Okay. And when did you decide to take, how did you know about the creatine?
I just did my research and I asked my primary care about it. And I said, well, I'll give it a try to see how it works for me and how it does with my body. And it just seemed to be working. I started going to the Y. I started noticing a little bit of muscle coming and then more and more. So the only supplement I take is just creatine. And I just take a tablespoon in some water in the morning and a tablespoon in the afternoon.
Now I've heard some people, not very many, but a few people say that when they've taken that, they feel like and you were already at your weight loss goal, but people that are in the stage of losing weight, sometimes it could, have you show an increase on the scale. Have you ever gotten that?
No, I've had no increase on the scale. But you got to remember, for me, because I go to the Y so often, I go 5 to 6 days a week, and on average, I have at least 2 classes a day, and I'm still in a calorie deficit. I didn't have any. But of course, we know that muscle weighs more than fat. So, but I'm hovering around now. My goal weight for me, I didn't want to be more than 119, and the heaviest I'm willing to accept is 127. So I gave myself that grace, but I normally hover around 118, 119. I don't ever want to be heavier than 127. And I gave
127.
myself that grace period so I don't freak out if I see 2 pounds or 5 pounds on the scale. No.
I love
And then
that.
you always know that you're at a calorie deficit because you can see what you look like, you know what your clothes feel like. And I'm not so obsessed with a number on the scale. I just want to be able to stay in between a size 2 or 4, and that works for me. A 0 is a plus, but I like to stay no larger than a 4. So
No larger than a four. So I think that's great. Like that gives you some. So talking about no larger than the four, what did you do with your clothes that were size 22 and 14 and all those other sizes? Where are the clothes?
I still have quite a few in the closet, but I've given away a lot to some of the other girls who go to the Y with me. I've donated some. I've taken some to the women's shelter. I mostly try to give them away because I'd rather give them away for free than somebody to put a $7 or $8 price tag on a pair of jeans with the way things are today. I'd rather just bless somebody else with them. And they don't hurt my feelings. Take what you like, and what you don't like, leave for somebody else, because everybody's taste is different. So it's times I take bags to the Y, and I'll leave them on the table with a sign and say, hey, it's Tanya. I brought some more clothes. Go through and see what you like. What you don't like, I'll donate.
Wow. I love that. That's a great idea to take them to your local Y. All right,
Yeah,
coming from Tanya. I love that. Okay, so y- I want to know, so and you talked about this a little bit, but just highlight really quick. So what are some non-scale victories you've had beyond the scale? Because looking at you, somebody looks at you, you think like, oh, she's so focused on getting her body toned and gaining the muscle and losing the fat and all of that. But what are some other non-scale victories? And I know you mentioned them, but I really want to focus on that because I think that's what gives you hope when the scale doesn't necessarily move from week to week. It's just all those
right.
other things. So what are some of your top non-scale victories?
Well, my best revenge non-scale victory was, drum roll, drrrn, I went to the VA and I happened to have lost all my weight. And for that particular day, I happened to have dressed really cute. I didn't know why, but I just did. I saw an old boyfriend from who I was supposed to marry when I was in the service. And when he saw me, he couldn't believe how I looked. And he was looking like he was about 80. He was all bent over and shuffling, moving slow. And he was like, oh my goodness, Tanya, is that you? I was like, Elliot, is that you?
You said that's a non-scale victory, right? For
That
him to,
was a
yeah.
non-scale victory. Absolutely. That was one of my best non-scale victories. My best revenge is I can show you better than I can tell you. And I sure showed him.
Oh, I love that. I love that. My mom used to say that I could show you better than I could tell you. I love it. Okay, all right. Well, that I've never heard that non-scale victory. So this is awesome. This is awesome. And that is right. Seeing people who, you saw when you were heavier. And another thing too is if they gave you some shade, right? Like they didn't want to look at you,
Absolutely.
talk to you, or whatever. Now it's like, how you like me now?
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay, so I want to ask you because you kind of hit on this earlier, but just to kind of reinforce, what do you say to people who say you don't need to take a GLP-1? If you could get up and go to the gym and go to the Y and do all that working out, why do you need a GLP-1?
Well, for me, after having gastric bypass surgery and losing all that weight and being small, but then gaining all that weight back, I had to change something for me. But if I could have done it, I would have. And having this GLP-1, when we talk about food noise, for people who don't understand that are not on this, we are constantly thinking about food. Even when you're not hungry, you're thinking about, what am I going to eat? When am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? You're going to the refrigerator, picking up stuff, and you're not really hungry and you're eating it. And then you're eating empty calories. You can
Yeah.
do all the moving that you want, but if you're taking in 4,000 calories a day, whether you're moving or not, you're not in a calorie deficit and you're not helping yourself. So if it would have worked, I would have done it. But this medication really quieted the food noise, and it helped me to focus on the things that I was eating. Because I still, to this day, I journal every day what I eat. I write down. I
Mm,
write down what classes I take at the Y. I write down my measurements. Now I don't get on the scale every day. That's just not for me, because I'm not going to go up 4 pounds and freak out and then go down 2 pounds and be so
yeah.
I weigh myself twice in a month, and whatever it is, I accept it, because I
And did
know
you
that, like
do
I
that
said,
your whole journey, or is it just now in maintenance? You're only wearing
no,
twice
I've
a
done
month?
it my whole entire journey. I have 3 notebooks full. It's through my whole entire journey, because it keeps me accountable. Because in the
Yeah.
beginning, I did slip up. Instead of having one slice of pizza, I had 3 slices of pizza. So I'm not going to lie, it hasn't been easy, but you have to stay focused and you have to make your mind up that this is a lifestyle. Because suppose for some reason they stop me on a medication, which my doctor has said he wants to get me off of my medication because he feels like it's not enough research been done for the long-term effects. So he does eventually want me to come off. And he said we're going to taper down. So if that should happen, I need to be able to maintain this on my own. So I know it had to be a lifestyle change, a real lifestyle change. And I made it up in my mind that that's what I'm going to do. It's a lifestyle change. I can still have those Pepperidge Farm Chessman cookies, but I don't have to eat 12. I can eat 4, drink some water, and be satisfied. So I don't deny myself. I love Little Caesars pizza, pepperoni. I still have a slice of pepperoni, maybe 2. I might eat one, and then an hour and a half later, if I want another one, I'll go ahead and eat another one. I'll drink some water, and I say, Tanya, that's your limit. And that's
And
it.
when
Because I've made up my mind that it's a lifestyle change. But the medication had to help me quiet the noise and see what I was eating. And when you journal, you can really see, if you're honest, you can really see the things that you eat. And that has also helped me to see where I was and where I'm going.
Excellent. I love that. So when you had the like, so let's go back. So when you had like the times where you had like instead of one slice, you had 2 or 3 slices of pizza. How did you get back on track? Did you say what did you say to yourself? Because I think a lot of people experience that and they beat themselves up about it. How did you just say, okay, I did that, been there, done that, and how did you get back on track?
What I did, I said, you know what, Tanya, you're slipping back into your old habits. Did you really want that? You didn't have to have that. So you know what? Tomorrow's another day. You know what you did today? You kind of fell off the wagon. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. But tomorrow you can't do that because you can't say, well, you know, I fell off the wagon again. No, you accept it for what it is. You learn from it and you move on because we're still all learning in this journey. So it's no need of beating yourself up. You know what you used to be. You know what you are now. You know that you're in a calorie deficit. But most of us on this medication, we've lost some weight, some of us quite a bit because everybody's different in their journey. But you know where you are. Of course, we make mistakes. You just shake it off and say, tomorrow's another day. Now I'm going to be conscientious and I'm not going to do that this time.
Yes, and that's so true. And I think for me, that's the difference with this medication than anything else I've been on before is, I'll start on Monday, right? The beginning of the week person. And then, with the medication, sometimes I would even say like, I'm going to start the next day. But with this medication, I'm starting like the next time I eat something. And I think that's the difference. I'm not letting it
Right.
even drag on to the next time I eat a meal. And so I think that has been so helpful. And that's what the medication allows you to do, right? But like you say, it is
Absolutely.
you who makes that decision. That's the message I also want to get out to people that it is the medication, but it's also you because we could overeat the medication. You can. And you have to decide
Absolutely.
if are you going to, make this a lifestyle change and something that you're going to continue even if you can't get the medicine. You're going to still try to keep those healthy lifestyle changes going, your routines, what you have in place. Or are you just going to say, hey, I just want to eat, and we're in this situation because it was difficult for us. Now that we have a tool, we got to use it right to our advantage. So I love that. I love that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything that we can put in our GLP tool belt to help us on this journey, that's what we want to do. And that's why I was so excited about coming on to share with others and just to give them some encouragement. If I can do this and I started at 59, then anybody can do this.
50. I still can't
Anybody
believe you're
can
in
do
your
it.
60s. Yes, yes, yes. So you have gotten that message out for sure. All right. So let me ask you, I want you to think back. Like, how would you describe yourself at, when you were in the 220s or even at 190? How would you describe yourself? What's one word to describe yourself before Zepbound?
Sexy.
Oh, all right, all
And
right,
now
all
with Zepbound, I'm just sexier and healthier. So that's a dual combination. So I'm lethal in my 60s. I can give these young girls a run for their money, not to mention the wisdom that I've obtained along the way.
No, that's right. You said, wait a minute, hold up. I was sexy then and I'm sexier now. I love that. I love the confidence. Where do you get your confidence from? Because that's another thing in this community. You don't see a whole lot of confidence. And the women that are confident, I don't think sometimes other women like confident women always. Where do you get your confidence from?
Well, at first, I have to say I got it from my mom. And then when I met my husband, he just always instilled that he thought I was beautiful. So for me, it's never been about self-esteem. I loved myself when I was heavy. I like myself when I'm smaller. It's just I didn't like the way I looked. We have to be real in society. Even though me at 220, 225, I know you could see me. You couldn't help but see me. I wasn't invisible. But our society today is physical. They'll see a plus size girl and they say, oh, she's cute to be fat, but they won't talk to you. But you
Yeah.
can be a skinny girl and have an ugly face, because some people, they say ugly and cute, because we have some ugly women, we have some cute women. Let's just be realistic. That's how society looks at us. And they'll talk to you, but you'll ignore the heavy set girl. And you don't know what qualities, what traits, what characteristics she had. She just has some fat cells. So it was never about self-esteem for me, because I always thought I was cute and sexy as a plus size girl. I'm cute and sexy now as a smaller size girl, but the extra added verb for me is I'm moving and shaking and I'm healthier.
Yes, I love that. Well, you tell them, Tanya. I love a good confident woman. And I'm not saying all, it's never an all, I know some people just love the confidence that other people have, but sometimes people don't necessarily love the confidence. And I think because a lot of people just don't have it. And I think that your parents instill it in you. You said your mom. I think I get my confidence from my mom. Even when I was, 300 plus pounds, I was just always confident. And did I have like times where I didn't like the way I looked and felt uncomfortable? Absolutely. Right.
Oh,
Because even
yes,
the
we
most
all have.
beautiful, slim women that we know, that we can think of, that are on these magazines and stuff, a lot of those women even have low self-esteem or moments where they're not
Absolutely.
confident. So I think that,
Absolutely.
it's just tough being a woman, right? And so I think when you find somebody that's confident, you got to embrace that and ask them, like I'm asking you, how do you get that? How can I get some of that? So what would you tell somebody to get the confidence you have? Like, let's say you didn't grow up with it, you didn't have a mom or, a parent or like even a mentor or an aunt, anybody that really kind of instilled that in you. How can you get it now? We want it now.
You know what I would say if I didn't have it? You have to love yourself first. You have to put yourself first, because if you put yourself first and make you a priority, then you can radiate that to others. So
Yeah.
for those who feel like, you know what, I'm a plus size girl, I'm not at my goal weight yet, just know that you still are beautiful, you still are
Yeah.
confident, you are
Yeah.
radiant. Every day that you get up and you're on this GLP-1 journey and you're taking your shot, I don't care whether you just walk around the cul-de-sac. I don't care if you walk around the track of your local elementary school. You're moving, you're shaking, you've committed to this way of life by using this medication. And don't worry about the scale. The weight is going to come off because you're at a calorie deficit. You really are. You know what you used to eat, you know what you're eating now, and it's
Yeah.
all going to work out in the end. Don't compare your journey to my journey. I just wanted to get on here to encourage somebody else, because if they looked like me, they sound like me, they felt like me, know that you could be just like me. It's possible. It's possible with this medication. And we all want to look like the downsizing diva with her glowing skin, her hair looking fabulous. We all want to be like you when we grow up.
Oh, thank you. That is so sweet. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And of course, I don't see myself like that. It's hard to see yourself like that, but I'm doing good. I think I still have like a good 65 to 70 pounds. So you got to root me on. I
You
mean,
know I do. That's why I send you the emails to encourage you. You know, we chat back and forth via emails. I'll be telling you how wonderful you look, because you look gorgeous. Speaking of that, because when we chatted before, I said I wanted to bring up, I've been with you from the days when you were on audio, and I wondered, does she look like me? Is she as tall as me? Is she going like me? So just give a quick synopsis of why you went from video, audio, hearing your voice, to putting your picture out there, because it's not in the beginning a whole lot of us African American women on this journey.
yes, I didn't even think about, that when I started, who I started watching the Patrice Denise, you know who that is? I saw her first, and I think because I was on she was one of the first people, because I was on Mounjaro, and she was
Okay.
also taking Mounjaro. So then I started to see some of the other ladies, and I was watching Zepbound with Ange. Do you remember her? I don't know if you would
Yes.
know Zepbound with Ange.
Yes.
And
I
so I was
subscribe to her
watching
channel.
her,
Yes.
and I was just thinking, like, this is a great way to, because they would say, this is also a way to be accountable, on my journey. Now, no one knew at the time. My friends and family didn't know. I didn't tell them. So, and I was watching these YouTube, I came on YouTube for information. Like, let me see, who's on, who's taking it and how it's doing with them. And so, I'm watching and watching. And then eventually, when I told my friends, some of my closest friends, like all my friends and family, how you have friends that you don't necessarily talk to all the time or see. So a lot of those friends still don't know, but the people that are in my inner circle kind of,
Immediate circle, right?
yeah, they know. And so one of the first things they said was, well, what's going to happen long term? Like we talked about earlier, what's going to happen long term? What is this medication going to do? And so when I started my journey, it was just for accountability by the time. And so that's why I was audio. I was like, I don't want to be seen on camera. I don't want to be on camera. I'm very private, and I think when you don't want to be seen, people think like you're embarrassed about your looks or something kind of and how you look. And it was
No,
never.
I didn't think that about
Oh,
you. I just
okay,
wanted
good.
to know, were you African American like me? What was your
Yeah.
height? What was your weight? What did you look like before? So I could see more of me, because when we first started out on this journey and I found out about it, until I had the accessibility, I didn't see a whole lot of people that looked like me. Not
Yes.
discounting, the Caucasian women were on it, but we're still different. And sometimes you need to see a representation of you, because that's important.
Yes, and that's a good point. And most people have said to me, like, oh, about they made it about my looks, like, well, you're beautiful or you're pretty. Why didn't you want to, be seen? And that's not it. And actually, it's more of what you said, how I ended up getting on camera. So, one day I had, gotten to 30 pounds down, and I said, I should post a picture because I thought I looked different, right? So I'm like, I'm going to post a picture at the end. And people had said in my comments throughout my journey, up to that point, like, it'd be nice to see how you look. I bet you look, beautiful. Can you see the difference? So then I put up that picture, and the one lady, when I tell you, Tanya, I was in tears. The one said, it's nice to see somebody who is the same weight, the same height, the same, kind of shape as me. And she said, it really gives me like a connection and a visual. And she's like, thank you so much. You really inspired me. And she was just going on and on. And
Girl,
I
you
was in tears.
inspire us every time you get on. What are you talking about? We
Thank
love
you.
you and your community.
I was so like outdone. Like I just couldn't believe it. Cause it's like, who am I that I'm inspiring somebody? So that just made me feel like, okay, so now I need to get on camera and show my face. Cause I do get when you're on a weight loss journey, like I was coming on looking for people, you want to see people. And so I
Right.
didn't see a lot of people that were around my size too. I saw some smaller ladies. So it is helpful to see like some bigger ladies and how they're losing. And that's how you relate. And so yeah, so that is what made me get on camera. And then I said, okay, so I told my friends, and then I thought I always set a goal. So I set a goal for myself and said, I'm going to go live and interact with people, because that's what I really love to do, even though I'm kind of shy. But once I'm in there, I'm in there. And I said, if I get 50 subscribers first, or if I get lose 50 pounds. Well, I got 50 subscribers first. So I called my inner circle friends that knew. And these ladies were in like a stock book. We were in a stock book club together. And I was going to be talking about stocks on there too. And so I was like,
Okay.
you guys have to come and support me. I said, it could just be the 5 of us, 4 of them and me. And I said, I don't know who's going to show up, what's going to happen, but I just know I, want to go live. And so they were like, oh, we're going to be there. So they were on. And I want to say, I don't know if all of them came or they started off on it. But anyway, people showed up. I couldn't believe it. And then it just took off from there. So yeah, so I'm glad I did. But that's a good perspective to think about. And so that's why I would encourage you or anybody else that wants to start a channel and document your journey. I think that's great, because like you say, we do need to see ourselves in people that look like us. And it doesn't even have to be, it's not even a racial thing at all. It's just an identity, right? Like
Right.
identifying with somebody.
Right.
And we always know, we hear the statistics about African Americans. We're at the top for a lot of things that aren't good in the health community and healthcare.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
so our markers are a little bit different, when we should be looking out for certain things is earlier than the other, groups. And so I do think that that is important. So, but I am on my channel, I'm in, I just welcome everybody from wherever you are and whatever you are doing. And I just enjoy interacting with people and talking to people. And, I'm just trying to be positive out here, Tanya. I'm trying to spread the positive word. And that's what
Absolutely. And we see the positivity that radiates across your channel. Why you think your channel is growing, girl? Come on.
I am glad. That makes me feel good. So wait, before we leave, I want to play this little game with you because I can tell, you are you don't have a problem sharing how you think. So I'm going to say a word and I want you to tell me the first word that comes to your mind. If you want to explain it, you can. You don't have to, but just give us the first word. Like, don't filter yourself.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the first word is GLP-1s. What's the first word that comes to mind?
Life changing.
Oh, good. What about being a veteran?
Proud to serve my country, and I would do it again. Army strong. And thanks for my benefits.
Okay, good. What about compounds?
Hmm. Now, see, I got to think about that one because, see, I don't do compound. So I,
Do you
that's
think
not
it should be
applicable to me.
accessible to, people that can't get the branded or don't want to pay as much for it?
I think I think GLP-1s, if your body mass is over 27, whether you have any comorbidities or not, sleep apnea, diabetes, I think anybody who is overweight really should be able to have accessibility to the medicine. Yes, I think you should be able to have compounds if it works for you, but really they should make it accessible because it can change so many people's lives, not just in losing the weight, but lengthening your life. Just lengthening your life to be around for your loved ones, being able to see your child graduate, being able to see your son get married. It's really life altering and life changing.
I would
Absolutely.
agree. Excellent, excellent. All right, what about strength training?
Strong and sexy.
What about menopause?
Did it at 38. So glad I was done at 40.
38. Okay, we got to
I
go back
started
to
at
that.
38.
Maintenance.
Being held accountable.
Oh, okay, good. Aging.
Like a fine wine and having so much wisdom. Because I was so dumb at 20 when I thought I knew something. Now that I'm 60, I realize I was just a bump on a log.
Yes, yes, yes. And what about family?
Having your family, your loved ones around to support you in any endeavor is the best thing. Family first.
Family first. I love that. I love that. All right, so let me go back to something you said. So in menopause, you went through menopause at 38. Why was that? Can you share that or is that personal or?
Oh no, I guess my body just said, "Hey, girl, knock, knock, here I come, menopause." I was surprised. My doctor was surprised that I started so early, but I went from 38 to 40. I thought I was gonna die. I couldn't take the heat flashes. Oh my goodness, I it seemed like it was just off the chain. And I didn't even do any hormone replacement therapy because I really
No,
didn't know
okay,
too much about that.
okay.
Just talking to my mother, she said it was something that women just had to go through and it was just what she had to do. So I'm just glad I started early and was done soon.
So it was no medical reason why. You just happen to be one of those people that started early.
Just one of those people that started early. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my gosh. And you have children too, don't you? You have a son, I
Yes, I
know.
have. I have. My son is 27 and our daughter is 41.
41. Oh my goodness. See,
So they're
I can't
grown
believe you're
grown.
in your 60s. I mean, you look good. I mean, you really do. And I
I'm
can tell
trying to
you
be
feel
like
as good
you.
as you
I'm
look.
trying to be like you.
Well, I'm 53. I'm not 60. You still, I mean, geez,
I,
so
I
what? So
want to look. I want to look 53. I want to look younger. I want to look younger, and just wait till I
well,
get
you
my
do.
Just wait till I get my full dental implants, because you know I told you the story. I was eating some candy and I cracked my partial. I'm in the process of having dental implants put in. So just wait. My smile gonna be just like yours. I'm gonna be just like you. You're gonna be saying, "Are you a mini downsizing diva?"
I love it. I love that. I love it. I love the confidence. Like you have the confidence. If that were me, I'd be like, oh, I'm not coming on there. Oh no, I'm not doing
I
that.
know,
You're like,
because you gave me the option. You said we could reschedule. I said no, because somebody might see me out in the street and I might not have my teeth in. I just look like a sixth grader who's waiting on the tooth fairy to bring their two front teeth. I mean, hey, I'm gonna be all right. And
I
at 60,
love it.
am I really gonna let what you say bother me? Absolutely not.
And see, I love that. I love that. I love that freedom. I love that, it's like you just don't care. And well, as you get older, you really care less what people think. That is so true. That is so
Absolutely,
true.
absolutely, absolutely. So that's why I came on here still without my teeth. So
I
maybe the next
love
time
it.
I come back, I'll have my dental implants, and then I can smile and let y'all see that $60,000 the VA has invested in my new teeth.
Okay, so we got to, that's one of the last thing we're going to talk about before when I do this one thing. I want you to give us, give advice to a newbie. So, if you somebody is newly taking this medication, which probably a lot of people will be starting. A lot of people I feel like start in February or November for some reason. I
Mhm.
just don't know. Those months seem really popular. February, November. So when this new year rolls around and we have our newbies taking this med, what advice would you give them?
I would say first, do your due diligence. Check the information about the medication. Remember, we might want to play doctors on the internet, but we're not doctors. We're just giving you our hopes and dreams and our journeys, uh, passes and fails on this journey. But you have to do what works for you. And make it up in your mind that if you want to get on this medicine, don't be afraid of a needle. Like I said, do you want to take a needle, take a small shot and be healthier? Or do you want to be worrying about a needle and be fat and worrying about diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, not being around for your loved ones? Because it's really about your health and your safety. And just make up your mind to do it. Remember, you're going to be at a calorie deficit. You're not going to be able to help it because that's what the medication is designed to do. So you're going to be eating less and you're going to lose the weight. So just take every day as a new day on your journey to your ultimate goal. Just do it. Do it. And like I said, for
Okay.
those veterans out there, know that you can get it from the VA for free. You don't have to spend $1,300, $1,500 a month to get a box of 4 pens. You go to your primary care, have them put in the request, you do the MOVE program, and you can get the medication for free. They even send me my alcohol pads for my medication, everything. I get it free
So
from
you
the
have to
VA.
be in this MOVE program. Is that what it is to get it for free? Because
Yes,
I know some veterans
yes.
that aren't getting it for free. I mean, they're not paying out of pocket like that. They're paying maybe $25. So how come they're
No.
paying $25?
Now, I don't know what everybody's particular situation is. I can just speak on mine, but I'm a veteran at 100% permanent and total. It might have to do with their disability rating, or it might have to do with what their service connection is. My
Okay.
service connection is PTSD slash military sexual trauma. I couldn't talk about that before, but I can talk about that now after years of therapy. And I gained the weight like I had mentioned to you earlier, at 220 pounds, I know you could see me, but our society, they like fat people, let's just call it what it is. They call us fat. We're invisible to them. But a skinny person, they see all day long. And I felt like if I put the weight on, I would be protected. No man would look at me. No man would want to sexually assault me. Nobody would hurt me. But in the interim, until I took therapy and put tools in my toolbox for PTSD, I didn't realize how putting on the weight was causing me to have other issues, which could ultimately take my life as well. So for my service connection with the PTSD slash MST, I was depressed and I had became overweight because I tried to insulate myself from the hurt and the depression. So that's how I was able to get my medication. But if a person has PTSD or they have other issues that can cause you to become overweight, because everybody has struggled with something different in the military, it can be
Yeah.
service connected and you can get it for free. And like I said, don't let your doctor, your primary care say, oh, I'm not going to put you in for that medicine. Your primary care doctor only requests the medicine for you. Your VA pharmacy looks at your overall health record and they make the determination if the medication you can get it or not. And you can get it for free. Like I said, I get a 90-day supply. They FedEx it to my house. And if any veteran out there is having trouble, like I said, you're going to pin my email. I will
Yeah.
certainly reach out and help them because I want every veteran to get what is deserved to them. Because, sorry, that's my Alexa. Um, every veteran is entitled to a level of care that's going to make their life better. And me being overweight as a veteran wasn't making my life better. It
Yeah.
was making my life worse, and I would never, ever, ever, you know, want to see a veteran not having the best quality of care or living their best life. And for me, being sexually assaulted was the worst thing. For years, I blamed myself. If I had fought harder, if I had screamed louder, did I say something to him that made him think? For so long, I thought it was my fault. And the military made it like it was your fault. What were you doing? Why were y'all talking? What were you dressed? How were you sitting? What were you doing? And for so long, I felt like it was my fault. And so I put on the extra weight to protect myself, to make sure, like in your head, you're intelligent enough to know that every man is not going to assault you, but in your heart, because you've gone through that trauma, it's
Yeah.
hard to let it go. And that's how I tried to protect myself. But in the interim, I was just making myself sicker. I was making
Right.
myself sicker. So that's why I said, for me, when I say it's life changing, it is literally life changing for me. And now
Yeah.
I've come to realize with the tools in my tool belt by going through therapy at the VA, it's not just because a man just sexually wants you, it's more about the power and the control they want
Yeah.
to exert. And it's not my fault. No matter how much you fight, no matter how much you scream, men are still just stronger than women. And if a man has got it in their mind that that's what they want to do, all you can do is just pray and say, Lord, help me get through this trauma, but let me keep my life. That's most important. Because yes, we can deal with the trauma, but you can't get your life back. Your loved ones can't get you back.
Yes. Yes, that's a great message. And I love how you came to that realization that it wasn't your fault and it's not what you wear and how you look, because I feel like the people that have that in them, they're going to do that if you were fully clothed or not. You know what I mean?
Correct.
That's not going to
Correct.
make such a difference. So, are you still in therapy or have you how do you get from having therapy? Is there a way that is there a point where you continue to get it or do you just say I don't need it for right now and
No,
you end it?
I still go to therapy because I can hear a song or I can see somebody that looks like him and it'll bring back flashbacks.
Yeah.
So I'm still in therapy and I've been in therapy for 20 years
Good
plus,
for you.
still trying to deal with it. So, and it took me 15 years. My husband and I've been married for 22. It took me about 12 years to actually tell my husband that I had PTSD slash military sexual trauma. And once I broke it down to him, he got mad, which I loved him for. He was ready to go out and beat the person up. But of course, we don't know where he is now because that was over 30 years ago I served.
Yeah.
But it was nice that he was angry and he wanted to protect me, which
Yeah.
made me feel good. But then he began to understand some of my behaviors and why I was like I was. And like I said, I still go to therapy now. I have a therapy session every Wednesday. And I go because I still want to have some tools in my tool belt to help me. Because at times I still have an anxiety if I see somebody that's dark skinned or kind of resembles him. I go
Yeah.
into that fight or flight mechanism. So I'm still a work in progress. I've come a long way, but I'm still a work in progress. But going through therapy, like I said, in here, I'm college educated, thanks to the military, no student loan debt. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
I've learned that, in here, it wasn't my fault. But in here, I had to really say, okay, it's not your fault. Forgive yourself for even thinking like that. Let's move on. Let's heal. And I'll never fully heal because I can never forget it. but the VA can help me live a better quality of life by equipping me with the things that I need, whether it's weight loss medicine for my weight, whether it's therapy, whether it's plastic surgery, whatever I need to make my quality of life better. Because when I held up my hand at the MEP station to swear in, I wasn't broken. I was 17, graduated high school early. I had my eye on the prize. I was bright eyed and bushy tailed. But now that something has happened to me traumatic and I'm broken, that I can never heal from, but I can learn how to maneuver in life. That's what the VA needs to help me do. And that's what the VA is there for. And I'm going to hold them accountable to help me live my best life. And sometimes you
Yeah.
have to be your biggest advocate in healthcare. You have to be.
Excellent. Definitely. And I love that you are talking about the trauma that led you up to being obese. Because I think a lot of times, that's like the chapter one, and we kind of skip that in our GLP-1 community. We talk about the weight loss and, we skip the whole emotional trauma. And sometimes it doesn't have to be as traumatic as what you've been through. It could be abused as a child, like physically, not
Right.
necessarily the other way. And it could be just being talked down to, called names and all those kind of things that people are dealing with.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times people don't share it or tell you, but a lot of us know that we use food for comfort for a lot of different things,
And
for
that's what I
emotional
did. And
comfort.
that's what I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. And so I'm
I
glad you're
felt
getting
like if I was fat, I would insulate myself from being hurt again.
And a lot of victims of sexual abuse say that. That's what they say, that they felt the same thing. So I've heard that before, and I know that's true for kids. It's a lot of times because I work with young kids. So yeah. Well, you know what?
I say get therapy and it'll help you. It's helped me tremendously. Having therapy has helped me. And it's nothing to be ashamed of, because if you could have stopped it, if you could have changed it, we as women, and it's happened to some men too, but because I'm a woman, I can only speak from the woman's side.
Yes.
We didn't cause it. We didn't wish it to happen. We weren't doing anything but just being ourselves. So know that it's okay. It's a trauma that happened, but look how much stronger you're going to come out on the other side. And I'm proof of that with counseling, therapy, and family.
And therapy allows you to talk about it. And, sometimes you just need to
Absolutely.
get it out and not have it so hidden. Because I think not talking about it, it brings the shame on. Don't you think that it like keeps that
Absolutely.
shame going?
Absolutely. And
Yes.
then in the culture that I was in, you have to remember, I'm old, as I said. I was in the military in 1982. So
Yes.
back
I was
then,
thinking about that.
everything was swept under the rug. We didn't have the Me Too movement. We didn't have where
Yeah.
spoke out. If you said something, you were liable to be looked at like, oh, you are a whore, or you were a tramp. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Because for me, when mine happened, the first thing they say, it's your fault. What were you wearing? What were you doing? Where were you at? So they didn't have all this quote unquote awareness like they do now. It was just swept under the rug. They immediately shipped me out from my duty station to another place. And when I tell you the military doesn't move people on orders in 24 hours, I was shipped from Bad Kreuznach, Germany to Stuttgart, Germany to a whole new command within 24 hours,
As if it was your fault.
as if it was my fault.
Now, do you think they have changed and come a long way? Because I've seen some stories that have made some headlines in the last, I would say, 5 years, where this sort of thought is not so, up to date where it needs to be. Do you think a change has come? Do you know anything about, like, has it, come a little bit? Because I don't feel
I
like the
think it's
military is with the Me Too movement the way the rest of the world is, or am I wrong about that?
no, it's we can still use a whole lot of improvement. It's
Yeah,
better than I
better.
say it was, but they're still sweeping some things under the rug. We have to get men to change their way of thinking. When we come into the service, we're not trying to be sexual objects. We're coming in because we really believe, like for me, I really believe that I wanted to make a change. I wanted to go into service to better my life, to be able to go to college, to help my family, because I'm the oldest of four. So when I went in, I was making, well, back then, $1,000 a month back then was a lot of money in 1982. So I was able to send money home to my family to help my other siblings, and to help my mom, because we grew up in the projects on welfare, you know.
Yeah.
Then my mother decided to go back to school, get her education. She became a nurse. But going into the military helped my family. So I was proud to serve. I'm proud to say I'm a veteran today. And if I had to go in and they want to take a 60-year-old, I would go back in
You-
again and fight and do what
So
I had to do. We may not
what
be
made
the best country in the world, but we are a lot better off than a whole lot of other countries,
Oh
even in
yeah,
this crazy climate
I think
we're in
we're still
now.
the best, flaws and all, right? We're still the best, flaws and
Absolutely.
all. You
Absolutely.
know, what
Absolutely.
made you go into the service? Like what when you graduated, what did you always have that thought, or did it, like a lot of times people say, "Oh, my army recruiters came to my school." What made you decide to go into the army?
If I'm being honest, I had a crush on my recruiter back then.
Well, we don't
And
expect anything
And
else.
I was tired of book knowledge. You're in school for 12, 13 years. And I just wanted to do something different. And I had a full ride scholarship to Slippery Rock State College because I ran track when I was in high school. And I just decided, I was tired of book knowledge. I wanted to travel and I wanted to do something else. And my recruiter came, he was cute and he was talking all that, yeah. And I was like, I'm going to go in. When I came home and told my family, because my mother had to sign because I was still under 18, they couldn't believe that I was going into the service because I'm such a girly girl. They couldn't believe it. But it's made my life all the better. I enjoyed my time serving. I've traveled. I've been to the French Riviera, Monte Carlo, Switzerland, London, Spain. I've been all throughout Germany, London. I've done so much. I met some men, then I met some more men, then I met some more men. I traveled and bought junk and did things that I would not have been privy to had I just
Yeah.
been to college. And then I was able to go to college and graduate from Drexel, a dragon, whoop, whoop, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with no student loan debt, which is crushing some of our young people today, which is ridiculous.
Yes, yes. Well, I feel like this is kind of like a full circle moment because I feel like God doesn't give you anything that you can't bear. And when you talked about your husband and how God has, your relationship and how you had that terrible experience, and look what God brought to you. And so I think that
Absolutely.
that is, just kind of like, God saying to you, it's going to be okay. God gave you a protector, and not to for nothing, honey, you can protect yourself now. I mean, geez, Louise, you can protect yourself. You can protect yourself, you, me, and everybody else out there. So I just love that for you. And maybe that is why you want to have the muscles and the look, and your body. You look strong. That I think that is probably without you even thinking about it that way. I think
You
that
know
is
what? Now that you
probably
say about that, now you're gonna have me thinking about that. That until you
yeah.
brought that out, now you're gonna have me thinking about that. I never thought about that.
Oh yeah, I really do. I feel like that is your way of saying like, don't mess with me now, right? And getting yourself because I mean, a lot of women want to have muscle. And I don't think you realize how muscular you look and how great you look. I mean, and it's like, honey, I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with you. I'm asking you to train me, right? So, I mean, dare somebody try to do that to you now. And not that, when you're older, I always say, I wish I had like the body when I was younger, but the mind I have now, right? And, I
Right.
mean, you got to think, I think a lot of times, the reason why before, when you were bigger and trying to insulate yourself, you thought nobody's going to want to bother you. Well, no one's going to want to bother you now because you look strong and fit. I mean, you look like don't mess with me or mama said knock you out.
Well, I have a concealed permit to carry, so you still
Oh,
better not mess with
honey,
me.
you've been in the military. Oh, you got it all. So I just think that that is God's way of bringing this all full circle for you. And I'm glad you felt comfortable enough to share that with us and share that with me. And
You
you're
made
gonna,
me feel comfortable. You made me
oh,
feel
thank
comfortable.
you.
And I just hope that I can encourage somebody else because we all have struggles in our lives. But when you can see somebody who's made it on the other side, a little bit damaged, a little bit, bruised, but still kicking and screaming, coming out on the other side, yeah, we're going to be
And
all
that's
right.
all of us. That really is all of us. So somebody is going to be able to, relate to that part of your story, no matter what their situation was, because we're all damaged. There are no perfect people, and I like that because it frees you up from feeling like you have to be, Perfect. So that's why I say on this journey is progress, not perfection. On your journey is still progress, not perfection. And I think if people can remember that message, and the number one thing I will say after listening to Tanya, you got to give yourself grace. You got to give yourself grace because nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to go exactly the way we plan. And you know how they say when, we make a plan, God has a bigger plan. And so,
Absolutely.
you just got to go with your gut, go with your instinct, do what you can, and take advantage of this GLP-1. That's the message we want to say. Take advantage of it. Use that tool to your advantage and reach your goals. And if you can do that, it's just life changing. I mean, there is no other. That's the one word I come up with, life changing.
Absolutely. And for those people, don't listen to those people out there that say we're cheating. Because if you see my pictures, what I look like before, what she says she's going to post so you guys
Yeah.
can see, we are not cheating. We are, yes, using medication to aid us, but we are working and moving our bodies and being conscientious and being accountable for what we do. So it's not cheating. So don't take the do not take the medicine because you hear people say you're cheating. You're not, because if you could have did this on your own, we all would have did it and she wouldn't have a channel. It's a tool that helps us, and any tool that can aid you in life is a good thing. It's a great
Yeah.
thing.
Again,
And
cheers to you. Thank you to you. Thank you to all the veterans out there. Thank you for serving our country. We appreciate you. Thank you for the sacrifice and more ways than one. I mean, I just know, having a family, a dad that was in the Army, and I just know the sacrifice. And so I appreciate that you came on the channel and you shared so much of yourself. And this is just like has touched my heart tonight. It really has. So I am so glad that we
well, I
made it
just
work.
thank you for
Yes,
responding to my email, because when you send emails, you don't want somebody to think, oh, this is a crazy stalker. When I sent you the pictures, because I said I put out the info, I just want to encourage you on this journey,
yes,
because
and I appreciate
some people
that.
might think you the creepy stalker, like, oh my goodness, I got one of my YouTube followers email.
No, I appreciate that. This interview has been in the making, and I am glad that we did it. And so you're, of course, welcome back when you get to your goals or whatever you're trying to do. And
When I get my
you
new
come back.
teeth, there you go, my new teeth, so I can
Now you
smile
talk.
as bright as you.
Did you say you wanted to have some other kind of surgery, or no? Am I mistaken with that?
No, I'm having thigh-plasty because I have a lot of loose skin on my thighs. Because
Okay.
even the doctor says, he told me, Tanya, do 8 months of strength training to see if you can tighten up that skin. But I've tried, it's not working. So he's recommended me for a thigh-plasty. And in 2016, I had breast augmentation surgery. And because I lost the weight, one of my, boobies is a little off, and I want the VA to correct that. So yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but
Now, when will
I'm
you
an
have that?
advocate. I have to go to Richmond and be evaluated in the next couple of weeks, so I'll keep you guys posted. And just know real quick for anybody out there, if you want to have plastic surgery and it's what you want to do, if it makes you feel better, then you do what's best for you. Everybody has an opinion, but nobody lives in your body, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. If you want to do it and it makes you feel good, and you vet your doctor, you make sure his credentials are on the up and up, and you feel safe and you have that positive rapport, nothing wrong with plastic surgery. You don't have to tell anybody if you don't want to, or you can tell the world. Doesn't matter.
So, give us your final bit of advice, your final message. You said, be what?
Be empowered. Be empowered. Know that on this journey, you're going to hit, sometimes you get on that scale and it might say 165 for 3 weeks straight, but you're in a calorie deficit. Don't worry about it. It's going to come off. If you need to move a little more, then move a little more. Just know that you're on a journey. All of our journeys are different, but you do what works best for you. And in the long run, we're all going to come out winners. We just are.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. You have been dropping gems, giving us some wisdom. We appreciate you, and just stay confident, stay beautiful on the inside and out. And when you have, all the things you want to have done with your body comp and what you have going on, you are welcome to come back. We'll have to chat and catch up and see where you. So have a great evening, and thank you for coming. And I
Well,
appreciate
thank
you.
you for inviting me on. I'm so excited. I feel like I've had my first celebrity crush.
Thank you. Bye, Miss Tanya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.